Welcome back to The Explainer, the place where we break down complex information into clear, actionable takeaways. Today, we are tackling the absolute elephant in the room for anyone preparing for their language exams. We're looking directly at the recent 2025 updates to the Retell Lecture task. Seriously, if you've been relying on outdated strategies, you're gonna want to pay very close attention to this. It's the question causing sleepless nights for test takers everywhere, right? What actually happens if you rely on that old fixed template? Well, those old plug-and-play memory tricks, where you just memorize an entire paragraph and forcefully insert a couple of random words you happen to catch from the audio, yeah, those might now result in a big fat zero. The game has completely changed. Okay, let's dive into this. We have a step-by-step roadmap to help you survive and ace the new format. We'll be covering 1. The 2025 scoring changes, 2. The trap of fixed templates, 3. Mastering the note-taking process, 4. Using flexible templates effectively, and 5. The keys to a perfect score. Let's jump right into Section 1, the 2025 scoring changes. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the points have fundamentally shifted. If you look at the speaking module breakdown right here, you can see exactly where the priorities currently lie for the Retell Lecture task. The balance of power has completely shifted. And understanding this new rubric is absolutely your very first step to success. That massive shift really comes down to this single number, 6. Content is now worth 6 points. Now, it used to be 5. That might not sound like a huge jump, but it means content is now the absolute highest priority. It is sitting squarely on par with fluency and pronunciation. Basically, you can't just speak smoothly anymore. You actually have to say something meaningful. Moving on to Section 2, the trap of fixed templates. So the old kind of lazy method relied on a response that was, frankly, 90% memorized template and only 10% actual content. But the new way? It demands genuine speech and puts content first. Look, the artificial intelligence scoring your exam is getting smarter every single day. It will instantly detect premeditated structures that lack real information, and it's going to flag them as non-genuine. Plus, this specific section is increasingly being checked by actual human hands. Remember this crucial quote from our source material: templates are more guidelines than a Bible. It's like a compass, not a map. You simply cannot follow templates blindly anymore. The AI is testing your actual English proficiency, not your short-term memory span. If you're just arbitrarily inserting a word here and there into a rigid script, you are fundamentally missing the point of the task. All right, Section 3, mastering the note-taking process. So here is a highly effective, purely mechanical strategy you can adopt starting today. Step 1, listen intently for 3 to 4 seconds. Step 2, write for 3 to 4 seconds. By alternating your focus like this, you actually give yourself the mental bandwidth to capture longer, complete phrases rather than just scrambling in a panic for disjointed single words. And Step 3, aim to repeat that content exactly as you found it in the task, which we're going to expand on in just a second. You have to keep the timeline of the exam in mind. After the audio ends, you only have 10 seconds before the microphone opens. Just 10 seconds. That is exactly why having your erasable notepad and pen perfectly positioned and ready before the audio even starts is absolutely critical. You do not want to waste a single precious second of your prep time fumbling around. And this brilliantly illustrates a real-world point. Your notes are going to be messy. If you're taking notes on a complex topic like freedom of speech or the advent of the internet and social media, you aren't going to have perfectly formatted, beautiful calligraphy. The key takeaway here is that relevance is so much more important than perfect accuracy in your handwriting. Just take down notes that are clear enough for you to read and then repeat with total grammatical confidence. Which brings us to Section 4, using flexible templates effectively. Every strong response needs to hit certain core components. You absolutely want to capture the topic, the key points, characters, actions, connections, and conclusions. For example, if the lecture is about a scientific process for creating new recipes, you need to actually mention the chefs, the test kitchen, the meticulous recording of steps, and maybe the conclusion that chefs might find this process lacks spontaneity. It's about capturing the whole narrative, not just rattling off isolated nouns. Let's move to and see how this builds into a safe, flexible framework you can use. Something like, the speaker began by talking about, then he moved on to providing details about. Because you took notes in phrases rather than single words, you can seamlessly plug your genuine content right into these gaps to create a fluent, high-scoring response. Or, if you are a highly confident English speaker, you might not even need that much structure. You can just use this lightweight, freestyle signposting alternative. Simply use phrases like, firstly, the lecturer mentioned, moreover, she discussed, and to conclude. This gives your speech structure without boxing you into a heavy, restrictive framework. Honestly, practice with a few different styles and see what adapts best to your natural speaking personality. Finally, let's look at Section 5, Keys to a Perfect Score. The absolute most common question we get is, can I change the keywords? The short answer is, yes, you can manipulate and rephrase the wording to fit your grammar, as long as you're providing relevant content. However, and this is a big however, remember you are ultimately speaking to a computer. Repeating exact phrases directly from the lecture is a much, much safer bet to ensure the software's algorithm actually detects your accuracy and awards you those hard-earned points. So the crucial point is really about your pacing and delivery. You are given 40 seconds, but you actually only need to speak for 30 to 35 seconds to get full marks. Keep a steady, constant pace. Do not rush. Rushing just causes hesitation, fumbling, and pausing because your ideas literally can't keep up with your mouth. Speaking too fast will ultimately ruin both your content and your pronunciation scores. Don't do it. Master this process, stay flexible, and you're going to be perfectly fine on test day. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. But before you go, I want to leave you with one final, provocative question to really think about as you prepare. On test day, are you relying on your memory or your English?